Okay, we are going to be working on value. Again, there's no place for your name. So go ahead and write your name, your period number, and then your number at the top with your pencil. Okay, so value. To create a dark value, place shapes or lines close together. To create a light value, add space between. Obviously, the darker value, the lines are closer. As you move to the lighter values, your lines are farther away. Tints, tone, shades of one hue, color, plus black and white. If you're making a shade, you are adding black. If you're making a tint, you're adding white. So we're going to use lines to create a value scale. The lighter, we're kind of pretty much copying what you see here. So you're going to start on the dark, and you're going to make lines really close together. And then you're going to move, and pretty much it's colored in. As you move, it's going to be farther. So what you see up here is what you just did, you're doing right below it. We are copying what they did. Okay, the next box, you're going to use X's to create a value. I think that's probably the dumbest thing that a paper asks you to do. But moving on. Now we're going to use circles. And this would be, and again, kind of like scribbling. And then as I move, I'm just doing big circles. And you can tell that I'm lightening it up as I move. Again, just big circles. That one's a little bit better. So we have lines, X's, and circles to show value. Okay, so with the ice cream, what we're going to do is we're going to make the cone the darkest, and every layer you go up, we're going to lighten up. So the cone, we're going to use our most pressure, pushing down the hardest. And again, this is where you turn your pencil to the side and use the side of your lead. I can go back and add more here, make it darker. This next one is going to be a shade lighter. So I'm trying not to push down as hard, but still giving it a dark value. Again, I can go back and add more if I need to make these dark. So again, the next one I'm going to push a little lighter, a little less. I feel like I need to go back and add more to this. It needs to be a little bit darker to make the one above it a little bit lighter. Okay, again. And then this is going to be the lightest. Your cherry is going to be the white. So you should see a difference between each layer. And then obviously the cherry should be white. Okay, we're going to flip it over and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be working on making this value change shapes to form. So right now these are shapes, these are forms. So again, we're going to do what we just did. We're going to draw this first box is going to be the darkest. And again, you can go back and add it darker, so don't feel like you can't really, it's easier to add darkness than to erase it. And I'm just moving to the boxes, and this is going to be the lightest, which is white. So I see these two are too similar. So I'm going to go back, nothing there. The lightest is white. Okay, now our goal is to use this shading technique to see what we see here, to demonstrate it here. Again, this is white. This is your next level. So I'm just gonna, this is a helpful thing to do as we learn that. So go ahead and I'm drawing them dark so you can see them. draw those curves where you see the two colors change. So that way you know this is your darkest, not this whole section. The whole section should be these two. So it's the darkest and the next level. Again, I'm following that curve. Now I've got the dark, so I'm going to go to the next level. Again, you want to follow that curve. Again, there should be no color right there. You can see I got too dark right there, so I got to erase. Follow that shape. Same thing here. If you need to, draw out what you see. I divide the lines. So I know this needs to be my darkest value right here. And then as I move to that section, I'm going to lighten it up. Try to blend it together. Okay, same thing. If you need to see the difference, again, I'm going to draw these lighter so I don't. So your third one is going to be drawing it yourself and then shading it yourself. So that's what you're going to do. Draw your shapes. This one, if you don't know, is an ellipse, two straight lines, and then a curved line. It's like a squished oval. Two straight lines and a curved line. Two straight lines and then a curved line. So draw them out, and then you're going to shade them just like you did here looking at these three. So that's what you're going to finish on your own. I'm going to come around and just check, and this is me checking for your understanding. If I can see that you can do this, then I know you've understood this. So this is going to be what I'm looking at for our grade. Okay, this is going over form. This is the side we're going to start on, so make sure you write your name, your number, period, and then your number. That's what you need to do at the top. Again, we're going to walk through taking our flat shapes, our two-dimensional shapes, and then slowly making them to form a three-dimensional shape. So the first one, you're going to make a cube. So you're going to start with a square. Then you can see every vertice, which is every corner that you see, is going to go that way. Draw a line. And then you're just going to connect them. Make sure they match up. So that is your cube. Same thing, let's do it for the rectangular prism. Now copy the pyramid. Notice that line does not go all the way down here. It stops short, so it's an angle. Cylinder. And then a cone. Again, make sure you notice you're doing curved lines, not straight. Okay, now that we know the forms and how to make them, we're going to flip it over because we're going to use this, what we just did, to finish these three. So we're going to take it, and again, if you need to flip back and forth, the triangle, we're going to turn into a pyramid. So you have your Okay, draw two examples of geometric forms. Remember, geometric are the shapes that have a name. So if I did a triangle, it would be a pyramid or triangular prism, just like we did here. Let's do a cube. My cube was a little wonky. Okay, two examples of organic forms. Remember, these are things that are made in nature, like a banana. And grapes. Okay, shade the object and label the highlight, shadow, cast shower, and midtones. So you've got to pick which corner you want your light coming from. So I'm going to do this corner. So I'm going to draw a little sun, knowing that that's where my light is. So this would be my highlight right there. So this area is going to be my white. If the sun is here, guess what's going to come out over here? That is called your cast shadow. So over here, cast shadow. So your shadow for this part is going to be your darkest. So that is here on the cast shadow part. So I'm going to write shadow over here, draw an arrow. If this is the darkest, my midtones are going to be in the middle. Midtone. Again, that's kind of right there. So again, the cast shadow is going to be your dark. So you're going to color in that little oval we drew out the back because it's a circular shape. Then again, I don't want to keep these lines. I want to do it smoothly. Because when I get to that highlight, I should have no, so I got to get darker here. There needs to be more of a difference in the middle. My transitions are still a little rusty. Miss Lawson doesn't do a lot of shading with her art, so I'm trying to practice more too. Okay. So again, you have your highlight, which is where the sun or light source is coming from. So that is your highlight. Then you have your midtones, and then you have your shadow, which then creates your cast shadow. So those are the parts of the create the form using value. So again, Lawson just watching you and observing you. So these, and it's two, are going to be going in your blue folder. So that's where these worksheets will be put.